The demographic cliff is essentially the consequence of a birth rate that started falling around the Great Financial Crisis. Women stopped having as many babies, and that birth rate has never recovered. And now we're about 18 years later. Those missing babies aren't around to go to college. So that means that there's a possibility for some schools, each incoming class could be smaller than the last.
Elizabeth, fantastic reporting on this story. What are schools doing to adapt to this demographic cliff?
Yes, that is something that a lot of experts stressed, is there is room to adapt to this challenge. And schools are, for example, bringing on degree programs that are in high demand, like artificial intelligence, health, cybersecurity. Others have taken to adding on extracurriculars and sports that can appeal to students. There was one school that we talked to that brought on a bass fishing team that was very popular and drew in a lot of students. Also, some schools are targeting older students and trying to offer more flexible course studies.
Those are the ones who have figured out a solution, but for many schools, especially the smaller and lesser known ones, they have no choice but to close. What happens when they close? What happens to their debt? What happens to their endowments if they still have one?
Yes. It can be really devastating when small schools close, even if these are like lesser known schools with not very many students. There's a study that shows that less than half of students re-enroll in another school when their college closes before they graduate, and towns are left without a key economic engine. As far as the muni debt, sometimes when schools close, investors have faced losses of as much as 50%, and then the endowments get redistributed. It usually goes to the Attorney General to figure out where those funds are going to go.
Is it only these smaller schools that are hurt by this, or is it the big state schools, the Harvards of the world?
Mm-hmm. They're all going to be looking at a smaller pool of high school graduates, but the experts say that this probably won't play out at Harvard. Harvard has more than 20 applicants for every seat that they have available, so even if there's less high school graduates, they're all going to be clamoring for that Ivy League degree. And then those big state schools, like thinking about the University of California, UNC, the University of Texas, they have plenty of brand recognition to draw students in as well.
What we've seen a lot of schools do is, and this includes the Harvards and the big state schools as well, is recruit international students to fill the gap left by fewer domestic applicants. However, we just got data showing that foreign student enrollment is down 1.3% this fall, the first drop in 3 years. So that is no longer a lever they can pull.
Yes, and that's been very challenging. Schools were dealing with this existential crisis of the demographic cliff. Like you say, international students has been kind of a way to plug that gap, less domestic students. Let's look at the international markets. And this has just dealt a really big challenge to those schools, just shrinking the market further.
And Elizabeth, what happens when a school closes?
Yeah, it's very devastating. The towns lose their economic engine. All of a sudden, they have this big campus that they have to figure out to find another person to come over and take in. And not very, these are old campuses. They're hard to adapt. It just leaves a lot of these places and students and faculty floundering.